Hello, it's time to give this girl some hair. I want to show you how I make my wigs out of yarn. They're pretty simple and just require a few steps. I take the ball of yarn and then I wind it around the length of my arm. This wig is going to be a little bit on the longer side, so I just kind of take the length of my arm and imagine the halfway mark as the part on the wig. She's been waiting for her hair for some time now, but I think it'll be worth it. This is just some yarn I had laying around. I often just use what I have and hope for the best. I ended up using the whole ball of string for her hair, but depending on how thick or how thin you want it to go, you can use your own judgment accordingly. After I have the wound up coil, I spend a lot of time just trying it on her. I probably would be a much faster doll maker if I didn't try things on as often, but I guess that's part of the process of playing with her. Play is so important, and I know it's very important to me as an artist. I kind of flatten it out and figure out the length of the head along the part line. I'm going to give her a center part. I sew the part down by machine, but you can do this by hand directly on the doll right away. After I have the little weft kind of made, I arrange it on the top of the head with the center part lining up to the center of her head, and then I thread up a needle and start sewing it down. And then from here, it's just fun and playing. I was recently inspired by the words of writer Alan Moore about what it is to be an artist, and since the rest of this doll is pretty self-explanatory, I'm just going to read you some of his words. There is some confusion as to what magic actually is. I think this can be cleared up if you look at the earliest descriptions of magic. Magic in its earliest form is often referred to as the art. I believe this is completely literal. I believe that magic is art, and that art, whether it be writing, music, sculpture, or any other form, is literally magic. Art is, like magic, the science of manipulating symbols, words, or images to achieve changes in consciousness. The very language about magic seems to be talking as much about writing or art as it is about supernatural events. A grimoire, for example, the book of spells, is simply a fancy way of saying grammar. Indeed, to cast a spell is simply to spell, to manipulate words, to change people's consciousness, and I believe that this is why an artist or writer is the closest thing in the contemporary world that you are likely to see to a shaman. Writers and people who had command of words were respected and feared as people who manipulated magic. In latter times, I think that artists and writers have allowed themselves to be sold down the river. They have accepted the prevailing belief that art and writing are merely forms of entertainment. They are not seen as transformative forces that can change a human being, that can change a society. They are seen as a simple entertainment, things which we can do to fill 20 minutes, half an hour while we're waiting to die. It's not the job of the artist to give the audience what the audience wants. If the audience knew what they needed, then they wouldn't be the audience. They would be the artists. It's the job of the artists to give the audience what they need. Well, I know I'm just making a little doll wig, but I hope today I was a little bit able to give you something of what you needed. I think she turned out great. Now it's just time to figure out what she's going to wear. She kind of looks like a mermaid, but I'm not making a mermaid doll, so I might make something springy or summery and kind of floral and tropical. I don't know, what do you think? Write what you would like to see her below in the comments. Thank you for coming.